Okay. ที่เท่านี้วะ46 46 plus enggak Pescara via Arrabietra Saturday, July 11 7:10 a.m. Thomas Kine sat behind the wheel of a lented white Lancia and waited for someone to open the door to number 1217. 1217. The private ambulance company across the street, glancing in the mirror, he smoothed his hair, then looked back to the storefronts. The shop opened at 7:30. Just because he was eerie, why should he expect anyone else to be, especially on a Saturday morning? So he would wait patient. Patience was everything. 7:15. A male jogger passed on the sidewalk in front of number 1217. 17 seconds later, a boy on a bicycle went by in the opposite direction. Then nothing. Patience. 7:20. A burly two policemen on motorcycles appeared in his rearview mirror. Thomas Kine did not flinch. They approached slow and then passed. The door across the street remained closed. Leaning back against the leather seat, Thomas Kine thought about what he knew so far: that a late model beige Iveco van with the Italian license plate number PE 343552 had left Hospital St. Cecilia at exactly 10:18 Thursday night. It has carried a male patient, a nun who was apparently a nurse as well, and two men thought to be male nurses. The information he had requested and received finally from Farrell had shown that Hospital Saint Cecilia was one of only 8 hospitals in all of Italy that in the last week had admitted an anonymous patient. More especially, it was the only hospital whose patient had been male and in his early to mid-30s, and that patient had been discharged shortly after 10 the evening before, arriving just after noon yesterday. He had gone directly to St. Cecilia's. A brief look around confirmed what he had suspected and prepared for, that the private hospital had in place a system of security cameras covering not only the hallways and public rooms, but also the exits and entrances. It was, he hoped, as extensive as it appeared, direct, directed to the administrative offices. He produced a business card identifying him as a sales representative for a security system company based in Milan, and asked to see the hospital's chief of security. The security chief was out, he was told, and not due back until 8 that evening, and Thomas Keane had simply nodded and said he would return then. By 8:15, the two were chatting amiably in the security chief's office. Turning the conversation to business, he asked whether, in light of the bombing of the Assisi bus and the assassination of the Cardinal Vicar of Rome, in what the government feared might be a new wave of ter- terrorist attacks, the hospital had done anything to increase its security situation. Not to worry, he was told by the assault, and surprisingly, young security chief. Moments later, the two men entered Saint Cecilia Security Operations Center and sat down at a bank of 16 television monitors, taking live feed from surveillance cameras, surveillance cameras throughout the building. One in particular caught Thomas King's attention. The one he was looking for, the camera covering the ambulance dock. Euro cameras operate 24 hours a day, every day. He said, yes. Do you keep videotape of everything? Do you keep videotape of everything? There, the chief of security pointed to a narrow closet hallway, like hallway, where recording lights of video video recorders grow in the dim lights. The tapes are kept for 6 months before they are erased and used and reused. I designed the system myself. Thomas Keane could see the pride the man took in his accomplishments. Accomplishments. Accomplishment. It was something to be applauded and then exploited. And Thomas Keane did, saying how impressed he was with the setup, enthusiastically pulling his chair closer, asking for a demonstration of how the system's video literal work, asking for example if the security chief could pull up a videotaped record of someone arriving or leaving by ambulance at the specific time in a particular day, say oh last night about 10, sorry, only too happy to oblige. The security chief's grin and punches in a number on the master board. A video screen in front of them snapped on. A time day code showed in the upper right hand corner of the screen, and then a video of the ambulance dock at the hospital's lair entrance came to life. The security chief forwarded, then brought the tape back to speed as an ambulance arrived. The vehicle stopped, attendants got out, and a patient was taken from the ambulance and disappeared into the hospital. Clearly seen were the faces of attention, uh, the faces of the attendants, as well as that of the patients. A moment later, the attendants returned and the ambulance pulled away. You have stop motion, Kim said. If there were a problem and investigators needed a license plate number, watch, the security chief said, punching reverse and bringing the ambulance back. then letting it go forward again in stop motion to freeze and hold a frame on a query identific- identifiable clearly identifiable license plate number. Perfect. Kind, kind smile. Keen smile. Could we see a little more? A tape bent forward and keen with his eye carefully on the run on the running code, engaged the security chief in conversation through the comings and goings of several more ambulances until at 9:59 an unmarked beige Avco van pulled in หมดลายเถอะวะมาขึ้นกันเบิ่งตก What is that? The delivery truck? What is that? A delivery truck? Kai asked as he watched a heavy-set man step from behind the wheel and walk out of the camera's view into the hospital. Private ambulance. Why is the patient? He's picking one up. Watched the tape forwarded, then came back to speed as the man returned, this time accompanied by a woman looked like a nursing nun. Another man, who appeared to be a male nurse, and a patient on a gurney, heavily bandaged with two folds hanging from a leg overhead. The heavy-set man opened the door. The patient was put inside. The nursing nun and male nurse got in with him. Then the door was closed, and the heavy-set man got behind the wheel and drove up. You can retrieve that license number too, no doubt, Kai said, stroking the security chief's again. Sure. The security chief stopped the tape, then backed it up, then forwarded in stop motion and froze. The license number was clearly visible. PE 343552. The time date code in the upper corner 22/18 9 July. Kind's mind. PE is a Pescara prefix. The ambulance company is local. Servizio Ambulanza Pescara. The security chief's pride showed again. You see, we have everything under control. Smiling in smiling in admiration, Thomas Kai pushed the chief's Button, Pry Button, Chief's Pry Button. One more time, I retrieve the name the anonymous patient had used. Mikhail wrote the square box at in the telephone book gave Thomas Kai the rest. Servizio Abranza Pescara was headquartered at 1217 Via Arapire Edra, directly across the street from where he waited now. The ad also listed the name of the company's Direttore Responsabile, its owner, Ettore Caputo, and alongside showed his photograph. Beneath it were its business hours, Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Kai glanced at his watch. 7:25. Suddenly he looked up. A man had turned the corner across the street and was walking down the block. Thomas Kai watched him carefully, then smiled. Ettore Caputo, Ettore Caputo was 4.5 minutes early.